All right, so you mind introducing yourself for everyone?
Okay, yeah, thanks Natasha. I'm Dr. Bill Means. I'm director of the Career Center here. I'm a director of career services as well as student employment. So we're responsible for helping students develop career skills that will make them competitive for the workforce. And we also help students find career opportunities or job opportunities on campus.
All right, fantastic.
Mhm.
And now, first question, what kinds of opportunities are out there for college students in the summer? I know you mentioned internships. I know I've heard of co-ops and things of that nature.
Mhm.
What all is really out there for us?
Well, it's really important for students to get experience in their major in a variety of ways. And so those variety of ways might include internships, and those are the traditional ways that students get experience in their major. That is considered professional experience. Another opportunity would be through co-ops. Co-ops would be students getting experience for 2 semesters. Oftentimes they are consecutive semesters, so they may spend time, 10 weeks in the summer working for an organization, and then they may continue on for another semester. So they're doing the experience also while they're in school for the upcoming semester. Students' internships can be paid or unpaid. It's not really important whether students are paid for the internship as long as they get the experience. That's what really counts as a way to build their resume. Also, students can volunteer. Oftentimes, freshmen are not as attractive to an organization for an internship because they haven't had courses in their major. Sometimes freshmen might change their major, so organizations may be a little afraid of bringing on a freshman, and also they need a little more maturity to function in the workplace. But freshmen can volunteer, so volunteer experiences are always good as well. Whether you are volunteering for an event for the summer, it might be, for instance, if you're a pre-health major, you might volunteer for a Cure for Cancer race. You might volunteer for a walkathon or something like that. So volunteerism, co-ops, internships, research might be another way to get experience as well, particularly for students who are interested in pre-med. The internship for a pre-med student is typically research somewhere for another university.
All right.
So those are traditional.
Okay, now throughout the summer, once the student gets that internship or they get that co-op, how would you recommend for students to try and balance working that process of building up their resume portfolio, but then also enjoying their break? Because it is summer, and that is the break where students try and decompress from school. What would you say is a solid tip that would help them get through that?
I say for students, if you're looking for an internship or if you secure an internship, to at least spend 1 to 2 weeks for yourself. So say for instance you're offered an internship, you may want to start 2 weeks after the end of school. So at least you'll have 2 weeks, you can go to the beach, you can hang out with your friends, but also be very smart about your weekend time. You might spend time on small weekend trips, etc. Or you can end your internship maybe a week prior to school starting or 2 weeks prior to school starting for the fall, because now you'll have an additional 2 weeks, or use that 2 weeks to have you time.
Okay, you time is important.
Yes.
And now, how should students approach unpaid internships? And the reason why I ask this only is because I know some of them, what if they are close to full-time unpaid internships, and there is a student who needs to save money up for school? How would they try and approach that? Should they try and negotiate with them for the hours, try and negotiate a type of pay? Because then it would be difficult to have another job.
Well, it is something to consider. Sometimes it is, and that may just be for one summer. It may be that if the internship, I would say the internship is most important. And most internships will be typically Monday through Friday. If that's the case, you may want to spend time doing a weekend job. Or, if you can't get paid for the internship, then you may be able to negotiate a stipend. So say, for instance, they may pay you $500 for the entire summer versus $10 an hour. So the ways to do it, but I would say that you almost have to invest in the internship experience. I do see some students at senior year who haven't secured an internship, and that's really not good, because most employers expect you to have at least one internship. And so maybe you just invest in that internship for one summer. Or maybe you work in the summer, but you complete your internship during the semester. Because you can do internships as well during the course of the school year. But one of my recommendations to students is that you don't get yourself in debt. Don't, matriculate in school with the goal of sophomore year moving off campus, getting a car, buying clothes, because if you focus your time and your energies on collecting materialistic things, then you're not going to have the experience, which is not going to help you in the long run.
Very good point.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as they come to that decision of whether or not to do a job, have a job, or take that internship that may not pay for all of it, what's some advice would you say to give the choice? I know you said to invest in that internship, but I know it's difficult for a lot of students to really think in that long-term mindset, and they think of the now, like, okay, well, I need this money now, I have bills I gotta pay now. What are some reassuring things would you say that you could tell them?
Well, a lot of times it comes down to planning. If it's, say, for instance, you have to contribute to the household, that's different. But I say, it's going to be hard work. It's not going to be easy. And, it may be that you have to complete an internship and work a part-time job. And if you're doing the internship, you may be able to negotiate only working X amount of days during the week and working the other days. For instance, I oftentimes will advise students who are interested in radio and TV to volunteer at their local radio stations. And so you may approach the radio station and say, yeah, I'm a student at Delaware State University. I like to volunteer 1 or 2 days out of the week. And for the other days, you can work.
Oh, no.
So just don't commit every day to your internship if you can't help it, but use that extra time to work if that's what you need to do.
Okay. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any final words for the students at Delaware State?
Internships. You should not be at senior year and not have at least one internship on your resume, whether it's required of you for your program for graduation or not. And I also advise students to be very strategic about where you find the internship. Look for organizations that you would like to work for beyond graduation, because oftentimes employers will hire their interns. So if you seek out internships, if you want to work for BET and you seek out internships at BET, then more than likely BET will consider you if you've done a good job.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, sure,
Appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.